Welcome to Montagne, a big fuck off French man who doesn't give a shit about the rules of Rainbow Six. Instead of droning out rooms and slowly peeking corners like a bitch, Monty just walks into a place like that kid in one of the best vines ever made.
This is how I enter my house. What's up, fuckers?
Monty doesn't concern himself with mortal threats like bullets, and instead, he just swaggers into a room like he owns the place and points at things he wants dead. Montagne is just a fucking militarized Zeppelin at the start of the First World War before they figured out how to shoot them down. He just looms over the defending team menacingly without actually doing any damage, simply on the basis that if they dare not give him their full attention, he can just murder them within seconds. Montagne shouldn't always be looking for opportunities to shoot people and instead fill the role of an invincible Shrek avatar, T-posing in the corner. Monty is best described as the ever-present elephant in the room, and addressing the elephant, or ignoring it completely, will both lead to the defeat of the defenders, who didn't log in, to be so stressed out. Much like the royal family, Monty's job is to do a whole lot of fuck all, and receive a disproportionate amount of attention for doing so. Montagne truly shines when he's playing an objective. Not only can his smokes make it super hard for defenders to stop a diffuser being planted, but even when he's last alive, he remains arguably the hardest operator to effectively deal with. Defenders will undoubtedly struggle prioritizing their attention, as having an invincible architect of death looming over someone who has no choice but to commit their attention elsewhere is one of the most hopeless situations to be thrown into. In fact, in many cases, Monty doesn't need to kill anyone at all. Standing in the middle of a door frame can make it impossible for enemies to pass into a contested objective room and will make both Castle and his barricades look more useless than the pre-installed applications that come with a new phone. It is said that the ancient Spartans were able to hold off a Persian force over 20 times their size at the Battle of Thermopylae just by funneling them through a narrow passage and forcing them to fight on their own terms. Using some clever positioning and a coordinated team, there's absolutely no reason why Monty cannot use this strategy to overwhelming success. Once this walking French barricade gets into position, nothing short of damage from behind is likely to dislodge him. In fact, explosions, even from point blank range, can often be shrugged off entirely as long as Monty is looking at them, but it should be noted that his shield offers no such protection to teammates. Although Monty is equipped with a gun, using it outside of scoring kills on already distracted enemies is not recommended, as simply trying to aim down sights with this shit is both painfully slow and leaves your head open for an easy trip to the spectator screen. Instead, many Monty players are very likely to score the majority of their kills just by swaggering up to an enemy and smacking them in the face. The amount of shit Monty can get away with is absolutely criminal, as the overwhelming majority of players don't realize that having a Monty walk up to them is usually infinitely more dangerous than a clash. However, his intimidation factor is scaled in such a way that they won't understand this until it's too late. Being within melee range of someone means that you can casually retract your shield and smack them over the head, while also making it near impossible for the enemy player to focus your vulnerable legs or back. Players who attempt to hit Monty's shield while it's extended won't phase him in the slightest, and as long as Big Shield Man keeps the other player in the center of their screen and slaps them as soon as their shield retracts, they can expect a kill to be nearly guaranteed. With this in mind, it is unsurprisingly very good for Monty to operate in tight hallways or confined areas, as he only requires a very minimal amount of time within melee distance to secure a free kill. On some very special occasions, Monty players may not even need to venture very far to eliminate enemy players, and instead can rely on overconfident attackers coming toward them who don't understand how easy it is to be punished for their mistakes. In many cases, simply walking backwards can trigger a defender's chase instinct, as they for whatever reason overextend under the impression that you're a free kill. In a one-on-one situation, Monty has the odds very neatly stacked in his favor, but for multiple enemies, this presents an infinitely greater challenge. The entire premise of diverted attention is completely flipped against Montagne, and his ability to keep multiple enemies in front of him becomes much harder without your team's assistance. In these situations, often the best thing you can do is to rely on their heightened and foolish overconfidence and take down as many players as you can while they inevitably fight over who gets to murder you first. Although Montagne has a hefty lead in terms of being the most unmovable object, this doesn't mean that chaos won't ensue when meeting an unstoppable force. More than explosions, traps, and cheeky flankers, the one thing that will give Monty more trouble than anything else is the defender who was clearly modeled on the manly man meme. Oryx can just run up to poor Monty and push him over like he was made of cardboard, which will, in all but the most rare of circumstances, result in a very eliminated French boy. The good news is that having teammates by your side will almost entirely negate the risk of being pushed over, but players who are forced into a 1v1 situation are able to come out alive if they can perfectly time their shield bash. Any player who pulls this off should immediately type the words, "Parry this you fucking casual," and hope the enemy player reactivated the all chat the day it was turned off by default, like a normal fucking person. This concludes today's guide on how to get good at Montagne. You'll now have a very capable pocket pick that will bring your enemies endless frustration, and you can hereby enjoy your journey to being a champion rank Monty main. Subscribe if you appreciate over-edited unnecessary text, but until next time, have fun and embrace the bullshit.
Dayman, fighter of the night man, champion of the sun, master of karate and friendship for everyone.